Today, most Muslims read the Quran in a text that is referred to as the Egyptian edition of 1924. But this is not the only text of the Quran that is read throughout the world. In North Africa, there is a slightly different text that is based on a slightly different reading, mostly corresponding to what we read in the rest of the world, but with some slight variations that do not affect anything that Muslims believe and do not have any major impact on any Muslim practices. And then too, in some parts of Africa, there is another reading of the Quran and a matching manuscript that is prevalent. And here too, we find some slight variations that do not affect Muslim beliefs and do not affect Muslim practices in any significant degree.
In here you see ihsana. So it says, and we have joined on man doing good to his parents. Doing good is how that is translated in the Hafs text. In the Al-Duri, which is fascinating because Al-Duri has really two different Qurans. He actually contradicts himself later on. But in this case, this is the Abu Amir al-Ala version of his readings. It is Husnan. Instead of it's Isanan, it's Husnan, which means beauty. So on the Hafs side, and we have enjoined on man doing good to his parents, in the Al-Duri translation, and we have enjoined on man beauty to his parents. So the problem here is, are men supposed to do good or be beautiful to their parents? Now, I'm a parent. I have 3 boys. And I would prefer that my boys were good rather than being beautiful. To me, that makes a big difference. So you can see that would make a huge difference. Not so much theologically, but it's certainly in the application, it would make a big difference. Let's go to another one. And this is probably what I'll end with. And that's Surah 98, verse 6. In the Hafs translation, or version, it has barayati. Barayati is the word that you can see underlined in green. Creatures. In the Warsh, which is the one that's used in North Africa, it's the Al-Asbahani version of the Warsh, because there's more than one. The word is Al-Bare'ati. Bare'ati, with the glottal stop there. Underlined in yellow. You can see there that's it is a different word, especially at the end. So that refers to as the innocent. So the translation in the Hafs would be, indeed they who disbelieved among the people of the scriptures and the polytheists will be in the fire of hell, abiding eternally therein. Those are the worst of creatures. So it's talking about us, really, Christians. In the Warsh, which is popular in North Africa, the translation would say, indeed, they who disbelieved among the people of the scriptures, that's us, and the polytheists, those are the heathens, will be in the fire of hell, abiding eternally therein. Those are the worst of the innocent. Well, now, there are 2 problems here. One is, are Christians the worst creatures, or are we innocent? And if we are innocent, what are we, along with the Jews and the polytheists, doing in hell? So that has a theological problem. You can do a doctoral thesis just on that, depending on how you're going to place that. Are we innocent, or are we just the creatures in hell? And so you can see that completely changes the theology, changes the meaning. So when Shabbat Ali gets up there and he says this doesn't change the belief, it doesn't change certainly the practice, he has to repeat that over and over again to placate the people who are watching him. I would suggest they be careful. Now we've just looked at 6 or 7. We could look at 93,000 and look at the differences. I don't have time, nor do you have the time, nor would you want to, but this could be a huge work that we need to do, because I'd like to know exactly how he knows that this doesn't change the meaning. If I've just come up with 6 of them here, which has changed the meaning in every case.
Today, most Muslims read the Quran in a text that is referred to as the Egyptian edition of 1924. But this is not the only text of the Quran that is read throughout the world. In North Africa, there is a slightly different text that is based on a slightly different reading, mostly corresponding to what we read in the rest of the world, but with some slight variations that do not affect anything that Muslims believe and do not have any major impact on any Muslim practices.
Sejenak, lanjut. Terlalu banyak bacot di depan dunia maya. Seranganmu tak berbobot, tapi kau banyak gaya. Aku sebut kau bodoh, karena kau masih payah. Merasa paling jago, oh itu sangat parah.